Everybody should be discussing it. Everybody should be calling Merrick Garland. A lot of us are hearing this now, and all of us need to step it up, make those calls, put it on your platforms, and once again, call Merrick Garland, and for that matter, make some noise for President Joe Biden.
Actually, we're going to do that. So last week, I was on with two young climate change activists. We called Joe Manchin. So I wanted to give you the chance, Stephen, if you wanted to, I can call or you can call Merrick Garland. Maybe you could model the ask, and then people can also from home do their phone calls.
Do you mind doing it? It's a little awkward for me because I'm like an active defendant in a case. Just suggest what you could say to him.
Yeah, tell me what to say.
I think what people need to say when they call him is, Mr. Attorney General, I am calling on behalf of Steve Donziger and our country and the values of our country to ask that you not let a corporate private prosecution take place in the United States that clearly violates the rule of law. All you need to do is one simple thing, make a decision to take the case out of Chevron's hands and take it over directly yourself via the DOJ and, review it if you want or dismiss the charges as was the original decision by the DOJ, but you can't let a private prosecution take place. Take the case back. And also, that's number one. Number two is implement the United Nations Working Group decision calling for Stephen's release and the payment of compensation for his arbitrary, illegal detention. Okay. Those are the two asks. I mean, I don't know. I'm on with some highly intelligent people, three of you actually, Chris and Marianne and Katie. I mean, do you think that makes the most sense, those two asks?
Yeah, I think the issue is getting it back into the regular courts because the legal violations are so egregious. And Presca is so insane that even given the tenor of the courts, you have a much better chance of having this overturned.
I want to have the bullet points so that people can from home do it also. So please take back the case. Should you not be here, Stephen? Is this a violation of some kind of thing?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. You're not going to...
Happy to watch you make the call.
Yeah, okay. I don't want them to railroad you with some new charge of aiding and abetting or something. Aiding and abetting
a call to the Attorney General.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, Chris or Marianne, do you want to do it? I can do it, or I can. Let's see. Please take back the case, dismiss it. So stop this corporate unprecedented. How's that? That's good, right? Unprecedented corporate prosecution that has been condemned by members of Congress.
68 Nobel laureates.
Well, and the United Nations. And Amnesty International.
Greenpeace.
I'll leave off Roger Waters because I'm not sure, although I'm a huge fan, not sure how much sway he has with Merrick Garland. Amnesty International, Greenpeace, the UN, kind of big deal.
I'll turn it over to the Department of Justice. The reason this happened is because they didn't want to take the case. They didn't think it was worth it.
And that loophole should be closed so that this can never happen to another private citizen.
That's right.
Okay. Chris or Marianne, you want to take a shot at it?
Go ahead,
I think
Marianne.
you should, Katie.
Not me.
I'll do it, but it's not going to be as serious as it should be. All right. Let me try it. You guys ready?
You have reached the Department of Justice comment line. Although your opinion is valuable to us, we cannot return calls made to this number. If you would like to contact the Department of Justice, including the Attorney General, please log on to our website at www.justice.gov and select one of the options under the contact link. If you would like to leave a comment regarding civil and constitutional rights, please press 1.
Oh, 1. Go for it, Katie.
All right.
Please leave your comment regarding civil and constitutional rights.
Hello, my name is Katie Halper, and I'm calling to ask Mr. Garland to dismiss the case against Stephen Donziger. This is an unprecedented corporate prosecution that has been condemned by members of Congress, members of the Senate, 68 Nobel laureates, Amnesty International, Greenpeace, and the United Nations. Please hand the case over to the Department of Justice. Take back the case. This is a terrible railroading, a violation of constitutional law, a violation of human rights. It's a dark stain on America, and it's something that, if happened under Trump, would be condemned by people such as yourself, I'm sure, because you are a man who respects rule of law, the Constitution, human rights, liberty, fairness. You don't believe in letting corporations take over the courts and loopholes that allow corporations to prosecute. Your own Justice Department declined it. The federal prosecutor's office declined going after Mr. Donziger. So please, for the sake of America and our relationship with our allies abroad, and as the beacon of justice and liberty and equal rights for all, please take this case and free Steven Donziger. Thanks so much. Okay, call me back. Bye.
Call me back. Bravo,
All right.
Katie.
I was a little nervous.
Bravo.
I forgot what to call him. I was like Mr.
Yeah,
Garland.
Mr. Garland, that was pretty funny. But
Yeah,
you
I
did great,
got nervous.
Katie.
Thank
You did
you.
great.
Yeah, that was really good.
I
I
thought that
tried
was
to
great.
really play up the American, the jingoistic angle.
If enough people call that number, press 1, which is feel free to leave a message about a constitutional violation. I think the message will get through that there's some concern about this case.
People, if you're at home calling, which I'm sure you are, record yourself and then you can send it to, I'll give you an email for the show, and then we can make a mashup of people making calls to their Congress members and to Garland, Biden. And then what should we say to people like AOC, Jamal Bowman, the members who have already written a letter on your behalf, Stephen?
What I would say to the members of the Congress is simple. Tell the Biden administration and tell Merrick Garland to do exactly what we just went through. Like, this is an outrage. We cannot have private prosecutions in America. Take the case over now.
We're going to kind of call in the members who have already written a letter on your behalf, Stephen. But then we got some people we got to call out, including Jerry Nadler, Shonda, big time. He represents you. He's supposed to represent you. He's your member of Congress. His son is involved in a firm that represents Chevron. He hasn't even acknowledged the petition that was delivered to his office with 24,000 signatures. And what about Kirsten Gillibrand?
So I have 3 direct representatives living here in Manhattan: Jerry Nadler, Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand. The Intercept has done some great reporting in recent days. With regard to Senator Gillibrand, she has accepted, if you can believe it, over $400,000 in campaign donations from the Gibson Dunn law firm, which is Chevron's law firm that's been targeting me for 10 years. So she's been totally silent. I believe, showing no real courage in the face of her obvious dependence on Chevron-related money. And Schumer, for his part, has accepted over $1 million in donations from big law firms that represent big fossil fuel companies. So is Nadler, by the way. Nadler says, I don't take money from the fossil fuel industry. Might be true, but he takes a lot of money from the law firms that enrich themselves by representing the interests of the fossil fuel industry. So, I find it shocking that none other than the United Nations 5 esteemed international jurists have found this to be a violation of international law. This is a human rights violation that I'm living out through my body, through my detention, right here on U.S. soil in Manhattan. And my 3 elected representatives have said absolutely nothing. No one's even picked up the phone. No one's come to visit. No one's even done the most mild kind of investigation. Just total silence.
People can also write letters to the editor in their local papers. You can write a letter to the editor in the New York Times. Why aren't you covering this? So there are so many places where you can write and make your voice heard, because it becomes a symphonic effect of just enough people. That's how advertising works. People hear about it, then they hear about it again, and they hear about it again. And I feel more and more people are hearing about it. And now it's a matter of just making sure, whether it's a newspaper, whether it's a radio station, and of course, Merrick Garland himself, comments line at the White House. Like Stephen said, if they hear enough, these things begin to have an effect.
Okay, Marianne's right. When I worked at the New York Times, they actually had a quota. So if they got 10 letters, I forget what the formula was, they had a number that it represented a certain number of opinions. So actually a fairly small number of letters that were sent into the editor, if there were enough of them, had a huge impact. So yeah, it's certainly worth speaking out.
I think so much has happened in this country because just not enough people were registering that it was happening. And the offenses became, and the transgressions became more and more egregious. And we watched and we didn't do anything. And at this point, it's a matter of speaking up. It's like when a woman is, women are told if you're mugged, just start screaming. We need to just start yelling about this. And it becomes inconvenient to the system when we do.